Here we are. This is a safe face mask. It's for both airsoft and paintball. It's fully assembled, ready to roll. It also came with a paintable lens. This thing is just all, you can feel it, it's all dusty and covered with something just kind of grungy. What we'll do first is disassemble it, and then we're going to paint camouflage on it. So the first thing we want to do is take off everything you don't want to paint. So in this case it's the elastics. When clipping this, you just push your thumbs in and it pops out. Push your thumbs in here, pops out. Next we're going to remove the foam and the lens. The foam's on these, this is a nice mask. The foam is mounted on little pieces of plastic, and so they just come right out, and so they'll snap right back in when we're done. We'll put those aside. They're not terribly delicate. The lens is actually susceptible to scratching. It has the good lens here has, you can see a gasket around there. We want to protect the gasket on the inside and the outside, the inside of the lens and the outside of the mask. So now we have these little keepers here. These keepers hold these pins which hold the lens in place. We're going to push on the keepers. It's a good idea to hold the screwdriver close. I'm going to use this Phillips screwdriver just to push these little tangs in very closely, and then you can push it, sort of push and pull them out, and they come out. The reason I hold the screwdriver closely is so that if I hold it like this, what could happen is I can slip and gouge the nice finish on the lens. So I put my thumb over it to hold it and keep it from flying. This comes out. Oops. There we go. We push this little thing right here. That comes out. That's this guy here. Save that. Push this out. Comes out, falls out. Then you can push the lens out just straight forward from the mask, and it comes out. We'll put that aside on the carpeted floor. Here's another gasket that we want to preserve. It's a nice soft foam. That's why we don't want to spray paint it, and why we're going to use this paintable lens that came with the mask. We're going to put this back in, and it will cover up the gaskets that we don't want to paint. We're going to put in the little keepers so that they'll get painted and become part of the camouflage pattern. And I'm not going to put these little clips in because they're not, it doesn't matter too much that you hold the lens in very tightly. It won't be bouncing around. We're going to be handling it carefully as we paint it. And that's all we need to do for disassembly. The next thing we're going to do after we've taken off all the unnecessary parts and put in our paintable lens is wash it. The reason we're washing it is because it's been worn before, and also it has not been washed before. It's likely to have mold release, which they use to take out the mold when they mold it, and that will keep this paint from sticking. So first we're going to wash it, we're just going to use regular Dawn dish detergent. We're not going to use 409, we're not going to use any other cleaners. The dish detergent will, or the instructions said, in particular with respect to the lens, they said do not use things like 409 because of the anti-fog. And I'm going to extend that to the body too, because I'm not sure if the body is polycarbonate or ABS, and if it's polycarbonate, then it doesn't do well with things like ammonia. So we're just washing this. This, if any of you have ever built plastic models, it's the same thing. Just wash your parts before you paint them. I'm not going to spend too much time trying to get the inside terribly clean. I guess we could if we wanted. But I'm just trying to use everything's non-abrasive too, so we don't scratch the outside, which isn't terribly important for the outside of the mask. And again, the lens is paintable, so we're going to wash it off. We didn't put in the little retainer clips on the pins for the lens, so don't lose those. And that's it. The next thing we need to do is dry it. So we'll hit it with the air hose, because I'm too impatient to wait for it to dry, and then we'll paint it. We're going to blow it off. Actually, this is a good place to take out the lens again. We're not taking it out, but pull out the little keepers. Hold them in with your thumb. I am going to take out the lens. Are you getting this? Okay. Now we're going to blow up the lens.
Dad, I don't think they can hear you.
What?
What? Stupid.
Okay, so you're not recording now, are you?
No, I am.
You probably should stop. Well, we can keep going. The next thing to do, there's still a little bit of water on it. We'll just let it dry. But we're going to mask off this part right here where the foam goes, so it doesn't get all grungy and hard to fit. Mask these surfaces right here. They're not too hard to do, it just takes reasonable care. It'll probably take a couple pieces, and I just kind of tear it off right here. Push this down and burnish the edge so that paint doesn't creep in. Just push down on my thumb and run over it a bunch of times. There we go. A little bit. Okay, there's one. We'll do the other one. The other one's going to be much more complicated. Well, not much. A bit more complicated because it's got more curves, so we're just going to do multiple pieces and not drive ourselves crazy. And again, push that down carefully so you get all the edges sealed so this paint doesn't creep in it. We are going to be painting from the outside and not really painting so much towards the inside. So it's probably not going to be necessary to do all this, but the mask is like an $80 mask, and so why not be careful?
Because you want to destroy it?
Shut up, Mac.
Yeah. Family Guy reference.
Actually, I just realized something else too, and probably my caution about cleaning the thing with just soap is unwarranted, because I realize that the paint solvent is going to be much more harsh anyway. Okay, so we have it masked, and what we're going to do is we're going to put the lens back in, put on the little keepers on the side, and we'll be ready to paint. So now also dry it out too. Again, we want to preserve these things because these are something that's important to preserve, and those are something that will get messed up if you don't have the mask or the eyepiece in place. So there we go. There we go. We're ready to paint. Got my respirator on so I don't breathe the paint dust or paint spray. And I'll just start. This is Rust-Oleum Specialty Camouflage, and it is the tan color. That's, you can see here. Yeah, it's just another spray paint. Almost there. Get the top some more. There will be some spray on the inside. I'm not terribly worried about that at the moment. I do still want to keep the bulk of the inside dark for anti-glare purposes. But there it is. That's mostly done. Oh, here's a little spot.
Dad, how could you? The viewers. The viewers. Think of the viewers.
And
I'm
underneath
dumping.
those little spots right here. And I think that's good. Now we're just going to let it dry. Look how close a match that is. I don't know. But anyway. Hold on for now. Okay, the painting's complete. I also painted the visor, although we're not going to wear that for now. So we're ready to take it apart and put it back together. So we take out the little pins. We probably should have painted them to there, but we won't. Put that off. Just poke the lens out. And there we go. You can see how it preserved the gasket. And we'll take the masking tape off. It's a good idea not to leave the masking tape on too long because then it makes it hard to, the adhesive bonds too well and it makes it hard for it to come off.
Just a quick note, we waited overnight for it to dry, so it takes less time, but we just waited overnight just to be safe.
Yep.
You can see the logic.
Okay, so we're going to snap these guys back in. Okay. We put the lens back in the little bag here for safekeeping. I'll take it out. This in. Now with these spray paint shadows, we know which sides they're going. That goes in there. Then these little guys go here to keep the little side pins from coming out. And then, last but not least, the face strap or head strap. And there we have it. One painted paintball airsoft mask.
Woo.